Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Watch All My Reviews. This is your boy, James, where today I am here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It is not going to happen this video, but that's okay. We're going to live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Belle. Y'all say what's up to her.
Good morning. Like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for having me.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. And yes, please subscribe to Mrs. Best's channel. Any reviews or recaps I do not cover on my channel, it's because we are on Mrs. Best's channel giving y'all a whole bunch of exclusive content. We have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We also have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta that are currently on the channel. We do have let's see. Do we have 90 Day before the 90 days still? Yes, I think we still have one more episode with them, right?
We have a lot more episodes with them.
We have a lot more episodes. I'm excited about that because I love that show. So yes, and then also she will be doing Ladies of London. I will be guest appearing the first episode, and depending on how it goes, I may sign
It's
up
a
for more.
trial. It's a trial. I have not watched it yet. I am only doing this for Shani. And based on the first Ladies of London, the original one years and years ago, I'm hoping this one's better.
Okay, so yeah, so it is a trial, but either way she goes, I will be guest appearing, giving my opinion because I did tune in. I watched like the first 15 minutes and then I fell asleep, so I need to go finish watching the rest of it. Joseph Felton is here. Thank you for being here, Joseph Felton. So y'all, Bell Collective. Oh my God. This episode was doing entirely way too much. Hi, Dr. Jim Bunny. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Happy Saturday. Y'all, Bell Collective was doing too much. Way too much, way too soon. But we're going to go ahead and break down this episode. So we start out with, we're still at Carrie's therapy session where she done brought in her friend. I don't think she was a doctor. So I'm going to say Alethea. So Alethea is trying to help people, particularly Letitia and Latrice, get back together. She said, y'all a Bell Collective. Y'all know y'all supposed to be friends and y'all supposed to work this out. When you have disagreements, you go against the grain and you meet up with each other and you try to work out y'all differences. So how about it? How about, is there a space in here where you two can just meet without everybody else and try to come back together? And Latrice was like, I don't know. It's just way too much that has happened between she and I. I just don't think it could ever happen. And then here, Letitia, even just sitting here, I don't hate Latrice. I don't hate her at all. I love her, but it's so hard because it seems like we always come back to this spot. I don't know what it would take for she and I to ever coexist like this again. And the thing of it is, it's like, okay, all these dramatics and all this is not that deep. But whatever. Whatever. So Olivia's like, that's progress that you don't hate her. That's progress. And she don't hate you either. She loves you. That's why she crying. She love you. So we're gonna put a pin in it and hope you ladies come together for the Bell Collective. And that's pretty much what happened, that first little part. I had to break it down in scene for y'all. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you think Alethea was helpful or did she just leave everything where it is?
Alethea is a life coach. She is trained to help people navigate situations through life, but she is not trained in conflict resolution or problem solving as it relates to dealing with multiple people. That is the difference between life coach and a counselor. So I'm not gonna come down too hard on my orange curly haired sister. Okay? She came at them like Quad Luther King. She said, "This is a Bell
This is a Bell
Collective."
Collective.
I said, "Oh my God." I
Just
love that
with the
lady. No,
theatrics and the dramatics, I loved every
it
part
was
of
the
this.
theatrics of it all. But you know what? I think she was smart because one thing she did identify is they were not in a space at that moment to
Mm-hmm.
fix anything. When emotions get too heightened, whether it's anger, crying, or physical altercations, sometimes it is good to just take a pause and agree to come back and try again later. And Alethea, she said, "Y'all not gonna stress me and my orange curls out."
Sure ain't. I
I
ain't
don't
finna.
think Carrie
It's
gave her though, but proper pre-assessment of what she was walking into, because that poor lady really looked like they got on her nerves.
It looked like it looked like she definitely bit off more than she can chew, but also at the same time, she didn't understand the meal that she was getting. So I think that in that terms, I do agree with you. I don't think Carrie properly gave her a fair assessment. I think she just said that these are two friends and they just had just a recent falling out. And I don't think she went into exact detail that there was, cheating allegations. There were, going to former employees and trying to get dirt on the other one. There was a lot more than just two friends that just had one little disagreement and just decided to part ways. There was a lot more. So yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with that. I think that she definitely wasn't prepared for any of this. So the next thing we have is Carrie. Carrie is at the Brick and Spill, Mobile, Alabama. And with being at that location, we see that, there's not very many people in there. And Carrie has taken this upon herself to do like a content, creation of looking at the drinks, looking at what this place and location has to offer. Because with the Mobile, Alabama location, it's not bringing in the revenue that the other locations are bringing in. And we'll talk more of that later. But she's trying to, film some content. And I'm just looking at Carrie like, Carrie, you're getting popular, but I don't feel like you have the following that realistically would get people in there. You needed to, as we said time and time again, this would have been a perfect example of her bringing any content creator that has, a great following to say, yeah, come to Carrie's, location of Mobile, Alabama, because it would probably help, boost people to come, or if people are driving through on their way to Florida or on their way to Atlanta, they might stop in Mobile, even though that would be out of the way, but still, support Carrie. But I'm happy she's trying something. She's doing everything she can to make sure this does not go under. And with a restaurant, that is a hard thing, to keep afloat. So I appreciate Carrie. So Matt comes in and she's filling him in on the business and what she's doing and what she's trying to get accomplished and everything. She also fills them in on you know the whole situation with the girls at their house, Alethea trying to help them, and it wasn't a success because they still didn't leave with anything resolved. And then at this point, Matt brings to her that, he's been doing this whole, agent corresponding, scouting for quite some time. And he wants to, adventure out and kind of go rogue and do his own thing and leave his company. And Carrie said, wait a minute, this ain't the time for you to be making these kind of decisions with, our businesses, in these positions. Now it's not the time for you to leave your little company. It's time for you to kind of stay there until we figure something else out. So I think that's a lot to put on Carrie, in my honest opinion. I think that's a lot to put on Carrie, her being in this position. I don't think it's selfish of him to do. I think that that is something that a lot of agents and scouters do, is they try to go rogue and go on their own because there's more money into that when you do that. But I think from Carrie just isn't ready to take that leap of faith. And I can understand her position as well. So this was hard for me to kind of go, because I was kind of going like this. I was like, I see both sides very clearly. So Mrs. Bessie, you being married, you being a woman and kind of relating to, doing business ventures and, also collaborating with your husband as well. How did you feel about Carrie's and Matt's dilemma with this situation?
Um, I think she needs to sell the restaurant. I mean, we see later
Mm,
on the decision she makes, but if the restaurant is making it to where you can't, you're struggling financially and you don't have to be, I think that should be a clear sign to them as a couple that the restaurant should go. And you don't want to allow something that you don't really need to stop your husband from being able to achieve his goals and dreams as well.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, they did the best that they could, but I don't know. They didn't handle it bad, but I guess I would have handled it differently.
So you would have said to Matt in this situation, well, look, let me close this business first, and then yeah, you can go out and venture out and
That's a
do.
compromise. Like, yeah, come up
Yeah.
with a timeline. But that's just, I got lucky in that area. Myself and my spouse kind of both have the mindset of trying to meet each other in the middle. And it
Mm-hmm.
just seems like Carrie, I think she does care for Matt and she does support his dreams, but she also, it sounds like, is trying to balance supporting her own goals and stuff. But it's like, this is a franchise restaurant, y'all. I had actually looked into it. So Carrie and her partner only actually own a bunch of locations throughout the Mississippi Gulf and stuff. But there are other restaurants from Alabama to Texas that are all brick and spoon. So it's like she could easily sell it, and it's not like if she owned the building and if it was her actual restaurant like Latrice and Cliff with Taste, where if that was to go away, that's a huge loss. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she can sell it and break even.
Mm.
So
Okay.
she, like, think of it that way, but she definitely needs to compromise. But it seems like Matt is okay with letting her work through with what she works through, because I feel like deep down he know that restaurant gonna close.
So, do you think that she saw this? Because now that you said that this is a franchise that she brought into, you know what I'm saying? Like this was something that she brought in, and if she sell it, she really is not going to go through a financial loss. Do you think that she took on this project thinking that she could boost it up and make it a success?
I mean, nobody's going to take on a project that costs money if they don't think they can make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, she thought that. But with restaurants, you just don't know. You can be in a populated area with people that love going to restaurants, and you still see restaurants fail. Like, I see it here in the Bay Area all the time. So, it's just up and down. It's good that she cares. That's probably why she's successful, because she has that passion, but she also needs to be the business person that accepts that you're going to deal with failure sometimes. And that's okay,
Yeah.
Carrie. That's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
wish she would take this passion and energy she has to not want to fail with her restaurants and put it into her hair, child, because I cannot carry. I
But that
cannot.
wig was terrible, baby.
They're
That wig was.
lopsided, lumpy, uneven. She's a beautiful lady. The hair is a disservice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're gonna move on to Latrice. So Latrice goes to her doctor's appointment. Her fibroids are back, and Latrice was also someone like I believe it was Tambra who's kind of suffered from having a lot of fibroids and everything. So these are back, and she just had the other health scare of having a blood clot from like her knee to her thigh or something like that, and the nurse practitioner comes in and confirms that the fibroids are here, that surgery may need to happen as well. And and I love the nurse practitioner's energy. She was bubbly. I love that kind of energy when I go into doctor's appointments. I hate when they are like drab and draining because you're already nervous as it is. So when they come in happy and chipper, you're like, okay, lighten up the mood. Even Cliff was like, oh yeah, yeah, this is different kind of energy. But after the doctor's appointment, Cliff Latrice talks to Cliff about the whole Carrie's therapy situation, and tells him that that it was suggested that her and Letitia have a conversation without the Bells. And she asked Cliff, do you think that that's a good idea? And Cliff was like, yeah, I think you two should speak, for the betterment of the collective. And I'm looking at Cliff like, Cliff, this is so you can have a relationship with Glenn. We see you. And I ain't mad at him because if Glenn really is a good friend to him, I think I will be encouraging it as well. If I really found a good friendship in someone, I would encourage it as well. And they were once friends. So I can kind of see why Glenn would encourage it versus saying, no, fuck them. They caused too much trouble. They too much of a havoc. We got better shit to focus on. But you could tell that this friendship without Latrice or without Letitia is really getting at Latrice. So, you know, I'm glad that Glenn did encourage it. Mrs. Best, did you see Glenn encouraging Latrice to talk with Letitia?
You mean Cliff?
Oh, did I say Glenn? I'm sorry. Yes. Cliff.
Listen, I don't even care for Cliff like that, but let's not insult him by mixing him up with Glendale. Woo. Even for Cliff, Lord. But that the little talk, it was okay. Cliff is like husband A++ this year. I guess that little life scare that Latrice had got him in order. He has been so supportive. He looked funny as hell sitting in that seat smiling at the doctor. I
I
said, you know
love
a
it.
man care about you when he come with you to the especially an old toxic man like Cliff. You know he care about you if he at the doctor.
Yep.
But no, I thought it was nice that he encouraged it. It probably is also because he wants to be friendly with Glendale, but also he seems to be real in tune with Latrice right now, and she does seem to be hurting from the friendship. But I kind
Hmm.
of have a different perspective. If my friendship causes me to have pain like that, fuck you, bitch, and die slow. That's where I'm at. I'll take it straight to hell under the earth, because if you were really my friend, you should not do things to cause me that much pain. I understand an argument here and there, something crazy, but like the the stuff that Letitia has done and that they've done to each other, like, let it go. There's no repair. I wish when stuff like this would happen, they just put one of them off the show. But it's nice. Good for you, Cliff.
Yes, we appreciate you, Cliff, showing up for Latrice like you be doing. Like, I love all of this. I do. I love this. Is what you should have been doing season one. But I digress. So we're gonna move on to Letitia. So Letitia is getting ready for her photo shoot for the launch of her, TV show that we don't know where it's going to be on just yet. But she comes up in there and they're getting her glammed, and her executive producer Donald walks in. And she goes, "Hey Donald, it's been a road to get here. I was talking to Glendale, and Glendale, feel the way about you and everything. I don't know what that's on. Do you want something else from me other than business?" And they sit up there laughing. I'm looking at Letitia like, you really have no couth at all. Why would you come up in there? And it's supposed to be something professional, and you bring up some mess like this. I would have just looked at her and I'm like, how long have we been working together? Like, what is going on in your household where that's the topic of conversation? That I would want something other than a professional relationship. That is crazy as hell. But Letitia is still getting ready. She's putting on this blonde wig, and I'm like, oh Lord, y'all, please let it look right on her head. Please, please, please. Shantae walks in. And Shantae, gives her, the encouragement. This is for you. You just, get your mind right. You're gonna kill this and everything. Giving her the best friend encouragement. So Letitia walks out on stage and she's getting her, fluctuation of photo shoot. I guess that's what we'll call it, because I didn't know what the hell she was doing. But she was getting a photo shoot. Glendale happens to walk in, and Glendale said that him and Letitia share their location, so he just gonna pop up on her. He ain't gonna tell her he's coming. He's not gonna tell her that he's gonna check in with her. Nothing. He just gonna pop up. So as soon as he walks in, then Letitia get to struggling because she sees him in her eyes, and she like, and not doing any of the photo shoots. So everyone's like, okay, what's going on? Why are you not focused? Get focused. And she couldn't get focused, y'all. She couldn't get focused at all. So they step aside, and Letitia says, "Glenn, what are you doing here? I didn't know you were gonna come and pop up." He says, "Well, yeah, I'm always gonna pop up on your wife." But Glendale said, "Listen here, this is how this gonna go. So you know what? All of this, with this is all great and everything, but I want to be CC'd on all the emails. I want to be copied on all the text messages back and forth between you and your management. I need to see all of that. I need to do everything because if you don't send it to me, then I'm not gonna know what's going on." And the manager first, that's his name. I still can't get past that, y'all. I'm trying. First was like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't have to send you anything. I don't have to CC you on anything. Like, what's going on? And then it becomes contentious because Glendale, he ain't got no, middle ground here. He just go from 1 to 1,000. He goes, "What you mean? You gonna CC me and all these emails? You gonna do this?" And he goes, "I ain't got to do nothing and everything." And it becomes a whole catastrophe of mess. So they try to get first about the building, and Letitia is trying to calm Glendale down because he keeps running his mouth. He keeps talking. He keeps getting agitated by First's appearance. So they then go outside because they in these people's establishment, trying to get this work done. And First is out in the parking lot laughing at Glendale and kind of antagonizing him, saying sexual chocolate and everything. And I said, First, you ain't no good at it. So unprofessional. You supposed to be this lady's manager. But I'm not surprised. This is Letitia we're talking about. So Glendale said, I had it. He goes, First, I'll whoop your ass. Like, you better quit playing with me. You better quit playing with me. And First said, well, you're going to have to stand up to me first. And why he say that? Because Glendale got to strike him. And all you hear is screaming. And once they kind of meet in somewhat of contact, First is just laughing at him like I would have been doing personally. But First is just laughing, not flinching, not doing anything. And one of the camera or one of the crew ended up getting Glendale contained, and the teacher's like, Glendale, this is my business. What is you doing? Like, why are you doing all this? Like, what is going on? First, can you just please leave? Please leave. Just get it. And so they escort first out. And he goes, see, Letitia, this is what I be talking about, Letitia. And I'm looking at them like, oh my God. Letitia, the jokes write themselves, sweetie. I'm sorry. This is not, no, this was so terrible. So let me give you guys my opinion. First is wrong. Point blank in the period. First is wrong for his approach in this whole situation. Now, Glendale is wrong because, first of all, it shouldn't even have gotten to that point at all. You shouldn't even have shown up. Or if you were going to show up, you should let people know that you're going to show up because this is business. I get popping up on your wife. He's allowed to do that. But let her know because she seemed so put off by your energy that I think that if you would have let her know you were coming, she would have more time to prepare because y'all are not in a great space. Let's keep it real. So, yeah, but first was that that's wrong. I just feel like for me, if I were to be in this situation, I would have said, okay, can I pull you and Glenn to the side? I would have told Letitia, listen, it is not in my contract to CC your husband in anything that we do business wise. So if you want Glendale to have a CC in the emails, then you need to renegotiate this contract because then I have to now do an extra step and send him an email that I'm sending you if y'all are collaborative business partners, which I'm unaware of in this situation. So we need to go back to the drawing board and renegotiate if I have to now correspond with him. That's how I would have handled it. So now that I've gave y'all the scene, which was one of my favorite scenes of this whole show, Mrs. Best, where do you fit in all of this? Like, where do you see the tables turning in this whole matter?
Well, shout out to everybody in the comments. We appreciate your engagement and your patience as well. But I pretty much feel the same as you. Ignorance, just pure ignorance. Because number one, you got her location. Y'all not sharing locations. Because if y'all was sharing locations, unless Letitia's just a really dumb bitch, if y'all sharing locations, she would have known that your ass was not on that boat and was cheating on her, potentially getting people pregnant, raw dogging other hoes, and kicking it with Mandy. So you have her location, which is something a very insecure man would do. Something a very insecure man would do. Another thing, what kind of marriage do these two have? I'm coming at both Glendale and Letitia, where there's not a moment that I leave my house that my man don't know where I'm going or I don't know where he's going. Now, if we make some stops in between where we telling each other we going, fine, whatever, who cares? You know, we adults, we grown, nobody's on a fucking leash. However, comma, there's not a moment that my husband leave the house or I leave the house or we leave our jobs and we do not check in and know where each other is at. I mean, I'm maybe Mississippi safer. Maybe I mean, the marriage itself is a joke, but Letitia, why did he have to track your location to even know where you was going? Like, come on, y'all. I'm not trying to say that like my marriage is perfect, but I've been with my man almost 20 years and he always know where I'm at and vice versa. So I can't understand this. It doesn't make sense. Then, Glendale, it's never appropriate to go up to your spouse's job unannounced. You walking in there unannounced. That in itself is bad. And then not only did you walk in there unannounced, you think because you're married that her employees have to report to you as if they are your subordinates?
Right.
And the example that you have given them, if I was the employees, I'm not reporting to him because one year he's here, the next year he's not. When the own cameras come up, that's when stuff act goes really haywire. Like, you cannot go to a bunch of people that you do not know and say you need to CC me in this email. Like, nigga, what? Who is you? Who was you? Boosie's evil twin. I will say it until I'm black and blue in the face. Boosie's evil twin. And then it was just like Glenn looked bothered by everybody, but he started all of this and he tried to manipulate it as if he didn't start nothing and was checking on his wife. But you came up there and said, I just want to make sure everything's strictly business, knowing that she has a team of predominantly males. So you're offending every man in there, coming in
Yep.
there, insinuating that you want to make sure stuff is strictly business. And then you're also offending your wife when, nigga, the reality is she needs to be coming up to your motherfucking job to make sure that you acting professional because he don't know how to keep his dick in his pants. And he don't know how to use a condom when he cheat. He can't even cheat right. So I'm looking at all of it like it's the audacity of it all. Like, Letitia, I get it, baby. You not Beyonce, and it look like you don't know how to cook, but you have so much more value than to deal with a crusty, ashy nigga that dresses like he is 17 years old, a YN on the street, looking forward to going to jail or doing something real ignorant. Glendale just looks like he's cosplaying a YN. That's what he looks like. I can't take him seriously. Like, not as a man, not as a human. And Letitia, putting your hands on his mouth, stop
Just
it. That's just my
ignorant.
team. He doesn't care that it's your team. He cares to hold you down and keep you back. That's what he cares about. He knew he was coming up in there to start some shit. And so I don't understand why Letitia can't see that. Pacino Rule
No,
says it possible that Glenn is gassed up. I don't think production can make anybody do anything, especially with the
no.
men. I think that he enjoys being on camera. I think he enjoys all of these things because Glendale be coming on the screen in name brand clothes most of the time and his Sheen outfits. Him and Letitia, I think he like being on camera. I just really do.
Oh yeah. I think
He
he
loves
likes
it.
the drama. I think he likes the attention he's getting. I think it's all of that. And I agree with you because to me, and like Dr. Jim Bunny said in the comments here, I'm gonna go back to her comment because I would have had an issue with that too. Like, I don't like First's approach to the whole thing, but I would have said this. If I was Letitia's manager, okay, well then me and Letitia need to go negotiate our contract because now that you want to be CC'd and everything, I have no problem with doing that, but it comes at a cost. Because that's now extra work I have to do to type in those little letters that probably don't mean anything because you probably don't even know what the fuck going on half the time. So yeah, I'm gonna charge for that. Because there's no way you're gonna sit up here and tell me and throw your dick around thinking that we all supposed to suck it. No, it's not gonna happen like that, sir. I'm sorry. I don't know who Letitia think you got. I don't know who she think you got we are, but no, it's not gonna happen
He
like that.
lucky his wife is cosplaying a businesswoman too, because of true entrepreneur, her
Mm-hmm.
husband coming up there and acting a fool could have got her sued. That is a hostile work environment.
Yep.
That is workplace harassment.
Yep.
Like that's all sorts of stuff. Vibe, they marriage is a joke though, boo.
It
It's
is.
a whole
It is a
joke.
joke. It is a joke. Like the whole thing. And shout out to Pacino Rules. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Hi, Keywan. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And y'all do what she say. Like the videos, comment, subscribe to the channel. All of y'all, please. We want to engage with y'all. If that's the case, that's it is. And you know, and also I'm gonna be honest with you too. I think that it's also it goes to show you how Letitia values herself as well because sometimes you have married couples out there who do separate their businesses from their marriage a lot of the time and they don't allow their spouses to intercept in the aspect of it. Now the optics of it, yes, but in the whole business aspect of it, they tend to keep things separate a lot of the time, especially if they had the business before the marriage, which in Letitia's case that's not true. But yeah, it is sad. It's sad that he can come up in there, go into her space, be hostile, throw his weight around as if he, started it. And he may have invested in her. I don't know. But at the
It
end of the
doesn't
day,
matter if he invested in her. Glendale is just, you had mentioned this on another recap we did of this
mhm,
season, where something about Glendale in that therapy session, he is intimidated and threatened by her success and her independence.
yes,
And with him saying it, and then you look at how he behaved, that's why I say he went up there acting a fool intentionally. And I think he acted a fool intentionally to sabotage her business. Probably because he doesn't like that he doesn't know where she's at. That's why he was like, y'all need to CC me on everything. But sir, if you was taking care of your household, she wouldn't nobody would need to CC you because your wife would be telling you everything. My husband knows every doggone thing that happens with my channel and with my job. He know my clients' names. He know everything. So Glendale, if you pay attention to your woman and talk to her instead of just hitting it here and there and then telling her where she can and can go and then cheating on her, you'd be surprised. at what you would know, and you wouldn't need them emails.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with him.
It is. Joseph Felton said, I always thought Glenn resembled young Dro in a way, but I could see the bootsy
He
features in it. I didn't even
does.
make that correlation. I was
Oh my
laughing at this.
gosh,
He
he
does, yeah,
does.
resemble young Dro. He does.
Now he got
Absolutely.
another evil twin. He just the evil
Right.
twin for everybody.
Not cosplaying a businesswoman. Yeah,
I said what I
she
said,
won.
Keywan, girl. She is
Right.
though.
She is. Like, what the
Because in
hell?
real time, real business people, they spouses cannot act like that. When Apollo used to act the
No.
fool, Phaedra used to distance herself from him in the marriage. You
Absolutely. Phaedra didn't tell Apollo shit. And it would just be her luck that Apollo will pop up somewhere. She like, oh shit.
right.
And then she go like this. She go, like, I'm not saying that to you, Apollo. I'm not doing this with you today.
But when you have something to lose, your spouse can't act like that. They
Exactly.
cannot
That's
act
my
like that.
point. That's
And
why we
that
say
man
she's
do not love
cosplaying.
Letitia. I don't think Glenn loves her. And the reason why y'all gonna think I'm dramatic because it's something so simple. When my husband has been mad fixing the fight, or back when he was younger and angry, very Oaklandy and fighting, if I interrupt or intervene, I don't know what it is. I can have a calmness over that man and calm him down. Glendale was ready to knock Letitia over like they was playing football in the Super Bowl for the championship to get to that man. And it was funny because that man did not flinch not once.
Not once.
Not once, which
Not
tells
once.
me that Glendale can't fight for nothing. But Glendale, you can't love your wife. She did. He almost knocked her down. I don't know if y'all saw.
Yeah, I
Letitia
saw
got in the
that.
middle
Yeah.
when he took. He almost knocked her down. That ain't right. And
Hmm.
Carlos talking about give them a shot.
Give them
Fuck
a
you,
shot. Yeah,
Carlos.
Carlos, this was okay. That was prematurely spoke because you knew this shit was about to happen. I ain't giving them shit because this was ridiculous. Just tell me this while I be cussing Kiwan. Now you know damn well you gonna be cussing. I'm over here cussing.
Keywan, you gonna be cussing. You gonna be in the
Yes.
group chat. I'm actually gonna be looking forward to your review just for your
Yep.
reaction.
Just for your reaction. I can't wait till your video come up. I'm gonna be ready for it. Trust me. I almost want you to go live just so we can get you in the moment. Um, Letitia tried to have a professional photo shoot or like thereof vibe. We still love you though. And somehow it turned into a couples counseling session, sir. This is a business shoot, not a marriage boot camp. This is also another problem I have with Letitia. Letitia, first off, because this didn't even start out professional. The moment that one of her executive producers walked in, she's sitting over there telling him, "Oh, you know, my husband don't trust y'all. He thinks something going on. Do you want something to happen between us?" It was like, now anybody with common fucking sense would have said, "Okay, you know, I'm having trouble at home, and I don't know what we can do to make my husband feel more comfortable. Should we come up with a business meeting so that way he could see some of the plans we have to where he could be okay with this kind of environment because he is clearly intimidated and I want to make sure he's most comfortable because I have to go home to this person. I have to do all of this and I can't help it. So maybe I can try everything in my power, but then that's also putting a lot of energy where Glendale should just be professional just because. But I digress. It's Glendale we talking about, y'all. It's Glendale. Ain't no professionalism. Poor Letitia. No, not poor Letitia, because she has this upon herself. Letitia trying to build a talk show while Glenn building confusion. And what's crazy is it's not confusion. Glendale is not trying to build confusion. Glendale is trying to assert his dominance like he has the entire time of their marriage. And Letitia doing this is putting a wedge between that. And I'm just like, Glendale, she is so digmatized by you. She ain't going no fucking where. Y'all, Letitia, let's keep the shit real. Letitia's not going anywhere. Because if Letitia was going somewhere, she would have been gone a long time ago. This man has given her so much ammunition to fire that rifle that honestly, I'm surprised that, you know, he's still in it. Quiet as it's kept. I'm surprised he's still in this marriage. Because Letitia's not going anywhere. First off, I don't know what her mama's line of credit is with that authorized user credit card, but anytime that your best friend has to sign a lease for you to leave your man, you ain't going nowhere because you don't have the power to go anywhere. Because I'm not gonna let her live that down. Y'all remember Marie had to sign that lease for Letitia? That lets me know right there, Letitia can't even get a place if she wanted to. And I'm sure she brings in some money in that household. insane and crazy. And she could say, I don't want to know, I don't want Glenn to know where I am, and I don't want him to know where I live. So I'm gonna put this place in Marie's name. That makes no fucking sense because he found you anyway. So that's stupid. So yeah, Letitia not going nowhere. So we can, save our gray hairs for something else. Glenn fears more Letitia gets successful, the more she'll realize she doesn't need him. You know what it is? It's not even that because, and I just said this, it's not about her being successful. She still looks at being married as the bigger prize. And married to this fool, she feels that she can't do any better. That's what it is. It's her self esteem. She ain't going nowhere, no matter how successful. She could be Oprah. She ain't going nowhere. So yeah. But anyways, y'all, that was pretty much it. Mrs. Best, did I leave anything out with Glendale and Tisha, or did we read them for filth enough?
I mean, you said all you could say, child. Them people make my teeth itch in a way I didn't know was possible.
I'm trying to tell you. Oh, so now we move on to Selena and Marie. Marie is opening up another location. And Selena pops by because she wants to see where, Maria's going and get her eye on business. It was a weird meetup scene, so I'll keep this one short. But there, Selena's talking about, getting her wedding together. They have finally set a date and everything. And Marie asks, okay, so, does he still have his own place? Do you have, your own place? And she goes, yeah, he has his own place, but then, he's at my house the majority of the time. And she said, well, when me and Cedric was together, this is where I made my mistake. When we got married, he moved into my house, but he still had his own place. And that's, that opened up the door for cheatations to keep happening. So if I can give you the best advice, Selena, I would say that why don't you have a place together where he rents out his house, you rent out your house? And Selena, oh yeah, that's what we doing. That's what we're doing. And then Selena says, I don't know why Marie is trying to get all in my business or whatever. Just keep it classy, keep it cute. And I'm looking at Selena like, y'all pretty much said the same thing in this conversation. And if you didn't want her to know your business, you wouldn't have said anything. So I was really confused by Selena. I really was. And as they were leaving, they were talking about, and she was all like, well, Marie said, I want you to find me a nice single man. Like, do that. And Selena said, I could do that. Actually, at my wedding, there'll be a whole lineup of single men. So you come dressed for the best. And I said, oh, Lord, with Marie, that can look like anything. So do we really want that? But okay. She said, Marie said, yes, it's going to be about my man, my man, my man. And so that was the end scene. It was so unnecessary for these two to meet up, but okay. Um, Mrs. Best, before I go in, I have some questions for you. Do you really think Marie was coming as a genuine friend saying this is, what I would suggest? Or do you think Marie was being messy and trying to get in her business like Selena assumed?
I think Marie has never given shade towards Selena. She's
Mm-hmm.
actually always spoken highly of Selena, even when Soguchi and her had her stuff. Like Marie has always spoken highly and advocated for Selena. So I don't feel like she was throwing shade. I actually feel like in this moment, Marie was trying to be a friend. But I think the problem is that Marie, in her history, it makes it hard to decipher when she's being genuine and when she's being Marie. Do y'all know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, God.
Like,
Yes.
cause y'all know when we started these lives, I could not stand this lady. I could
Mhm.
not stand her, and she has found a little space in my heart. I love me some Dr. Marie, but I cannot ignore that this lady do be messy a little bit. But recently, it seems like she has turned a new leaf, especially since getting her doctorate, because there's like conduct that comes with maintaining that. So but she's never thrown shade at Selena, so I do feel like she was being nice and not trying to get in their business, especially because she didn't dig too much. She was just like, with me and that man, I won't even say his name, but she said they had that was a point of contention in their relationship. She didn't go digging and asking all these questions, so I
Right.
mean, it sounds like Selena being difficult too, because if the man, y'all could both rent it, have your own space, have your other spaces, and probably find a way to get a little passive income too. Like, then do it. But
Then yeah, that's what I feel like too. But
or take your daughters out that mobile homes and let one of them rent from you. I'm just saying. Don't, and ain't nothing wrong with living in one, but if you ain't got to, you ain't got to.
I'm trying to tell y'all, cause y'all, let me tell y'all, I'm
I'll
about
watch my
$2.
mouth.
I'm about gas prices from getting me a damn fifth wheel my damn self because shit.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Times be hard. Let me tell you, they make them nice nowadays. They do.
Me
They
and
make them look
Mr.
like.
Best lived in a fifth wheel in Fremont for 4 years. Nothing's wrong with it.
I'm
But
trying to tell
if
you,
you got to rent to anybody and if her daughters are paying rent on that versus owning it, it does make more sense since the daughter has a husband and kids and stuff to move one of them into the property and let them rent it.
I would hope not, because them things is cheaper than cars nowadays. So I would hope they not. But you never know. You just never know a person's situation. But a person who finds laughter in a heated moment is a dangerous person. I'm telling you, first has something in his backpack. I feel like First could whoop his ass. First was laughing way too hard for me. Anybody that would have been scared of Glendale wouldn't have been laughing. They probably would have been in a defensive position. First was laughing
Nobody
and
is scared of Glendale. I'm starting to get that from the Mississippi streets. I don't think many are afraid of Glendale.
because he just sat there and was laughing the entire time. Anybody, let me tell y'all something. Anybody that's laughing in a fight is crazy as hell. I don't care what nobody say.
Yep.
Anybody who don't get mad, whose immediate response is to laugh at somebody,
Yep.
they're dangerous. Stay away from
Yep.
them. I'm telling you, they're dangerous.
Leave him
Yes,
alone. That's
leave them
right.
alone. Yes. James, why you make Marie's voice sound like Pearl from 227? You know what Joseph Felton's. Y'all know I love doing Marie's voice, but yeah, Pearl. She does sound like Pearl from 227. She do. Uh, it was a reality show. It was because it didn't make no damn sense at all. These two, we barely see them alone together at all, so it was really weird. Marie, stay quiet. Vibe. I don't know. I I don't know if Marie said anything that was wrong. I just felt like she just gave her.
Marie, I just want them to show more of her personal life. Like, I want
Me
to see if
too.
them bullet holes is on the side of her house. I want to see. I want
Yeah.
to see a lot. I have questions because Marie has come to us with like some crazy circumstances, and I feel like we never see like her house, like the outside of it. I need to see more.
No, Marie, don't show no because you could be, it could be a wanted thing. So we're gonna move along because we still have a couple more scenes to get through. But Selena and Latrice meet up and they're talking. We see Selena's little, pop-up shop with she makes her own jewelry and everything. So Latrice was like, "Girl, what you doing?" She goes, "I make everything by myself." And Latrice was like, "Me, girl, please, I would have a whole warehouse full of people making jewelry. What is you talking about?" And Latrice, and Selena kind of gave her a little eye roll, and it was funny, but it was because that's me. I'm like, I am not going to do all of this, but we all have to start from somewhere. So I get it, Selena. But then they talk about Tambra. They say, "Have you seen Tambra? Have you talked to her?" And Selena said that yeah, her father seems to be doing a lot better and everything. And Selena goes into her own journey because Selena's also had a stroke as well. And she said it is a hard thing to come back from. She said, I didn't, I had to learn how to walk, had to learn how to talk all over again. And it was hard. So Selena's had some scary issues because she also talks about the seizure that she had. She's talking about how she didn't really sleep much before the seizure. So that could be one of the causes of it. Your body is shutting down on you. And, they it's one of those things I'm like, damn, that's a lot to go through. First, stroke, then you have a seizure. Sit down somewhere, get some rest, do the things you need to do, take care of you first. And I think because Selena has so much going on, I can kind of see, how that could turn to some health scares, but sit down somewhere. You ain't got to do, unless you have to do all these things. Yeah, take a break, go on vacations, relax your body, do all these things. We're glad to hear that Tambra's father is doing okay. It would have been nice, if we could get a scene with her explaining that herself and that she's how she's feeling versus everyone else, telling us. I would love to have a scene with Tambra, but I think next week we'll get some answers for that, and I cannot wait because I finally someone needs old Tambra's ass to the fire. But that's pretty much all they talked about. In terms like Mrs. Best, is there anything you would like to touch on this scene?
Um, no.
Because it was a little nothing. Y'all, that was a little nothing scene. They had a whole bunch of little nothing scenes. I wonder what happened to Marie's mama, who was an addict. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I don't know. Maybe we should bring her back on the show one day. Um, so the next scene we have is we have a scene with Carrie. She's meeting up with her business partner, Brittany, and they're talking about, Brick and Spoon Mobile, Alabama location. And Carrie has mentioned that, from her influencer checks, she's been putting that money into the Brick and Spoon Mobile, Alabama. And she says that that money could be used for a lot of different things. She could be spending it on her, doing all these things, but she's using that money to keep this business afloat. And Brittany was like, girl, we just need to sell this business. We went into it with great intentions, but, the best thing we could do is sell it right now. And Carrie's like, but I just want to keep it. I just want to, turn this around. That's hard for me. I don't want this to look like failure if I sell it and everything. And Brittany like me, like Brittany, look, it's either we sell it or it's gonna break us. Like we need to do something and do something very, very quickly. So I think we need to put the for sale sign up on the window and just get this going. And Carrie's all like, "But can we just think of something? Like, I don't want that to be the end goal." And I was looking at Carrie in the hair, and I'm just like, Carrie, this be the problem, y'all. Because I was on Brittany's side. Brittany ready to sell it and be gone. Because Brittany ain't got no. Brittany look like she like, look, I done used all my resources. We tried to get this from off the ground. It ain't happening. So let's just go ahead and sell it and be gone. So their plan to go is to get it sold and then start back over with scratch with their other locations. And I just think that that's the best thing she can do is to sell it because y'all restaurants are hard, even franchise, no matter what, unless it's a McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, the ones that are just really just have the famous names and pay for themselves. It's hard, especially brunch spots, you know, that's only open from 7 a.m. to 2. That's, brunch is one of those things where it's popular, but any small niche could really set it back. And that's the tough part about it. So yeah, I don't know where they are in today's time. We didn't really get an update if they sold it or anything. I'm sure that will come at the end of it or she'll address it at the reunion. But I felt like, yeah, definitely sell it. Like, why drag yourself and your financial resources down the ground if it's not going to turn around? So, Mrs. Best, now that we know that, Carrie has officially had this conversation, even though we mentioned it earlier in the live, how did you feel about this conversation with Brittany? How did you feel about Carrie's position?
I understand not wanting to fail, but failure is a part of being an entrepreneur, especially in the restaurant business. So I get it, but that's why it's also good to have a business partner because her business, if she didn't have a business partner, she probably would not be willing to even consider selling it. Um, when you have to start going into your personal funds to make something thrive, that should tell you that you have to let it go, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah.
So I hope Carrie works on processing failure a little bit better. And I did look into the restaurant after watching it. They are under new management, so it looks like they were able to give it to somebody else to
Okay.
manage and all of that. But, you know, I appreciate her for actually showing entrepreneurship because all we've seen from Letitia is Glenn acting a fool with her. Latrice hasn't shown much of her business because she's got health scares and other storylines. We haven't seen Dr. Marie much because she can only show so much in Hamilton Davis. We never see Tambra do anything. And Selena, I'm still trying to figure out what her businesses are, but it's nice to see somebody showing the entrepreneurship that started the show.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this was brilliant, and this was very. I'm gonna say also this is very brave of Carrie to do as well because social media and other atmospheres of internet really won't let you live these kind of things down because they're always are going to point the finger at her and say it's something that she did when it just reality it just was something that just didn't work. And as we said multiple times, restaurant industry is difficult. So it is brave of Carrie to share this and let them know that there are options and ways out. And then you just got to start back over. She'll bounce back from this, y'all. She'll open up more Brick and Spoon locations, I'm sure. So, yes, big ups to Carrie. Thank you for doing this, Carrie, because that was very brave of you to do. So the last scene, y'all. Finally, Letitia and Latrice, they meet up at this restaurant. Looks like a nice little mom and pop little hole in the wall. We love it. I love anybody that takes unique spots and puts businesses up, you know. Um, so as we, get there, Letitia's there first, and you could tell she's nervous. The wig, this little piece of hair, just keep hitting the tip of her chin, and we just like, oh Lord, somebody tell her to move her hair out the way. But she just sitting there. She looked like she'd been crying. A lot's going on. Latrice walks in and it is completely awkward. And y'all know they did this for the dramatic effects of camera because I'm sure this is not how it went down. But they are just staring at each other. And Letitia said, "Well, I'm glad that you came to meet me. You know, I didn't know how this would go, and I just want to let you know from my standpoint, I don't blame you for that night and what happened. But you got to understand, for me, that was opening up old wounds, and it just hit me because I thought we and Glendale were really working on something." And Latrice said, looking back on it, I can understand because y'all did go through a lot. And overall, I did not want that to happen in that way. And I would never do anything to jeopardize the state of your marriage. So I apologize for that hurting you and that being something that triggered any type of emotion from your marriage. And why she say that? Because Letitia just had a tickle from inside. She goes, "Oh," she goes, "You apologize? I need to write that down," and trying to make the moment funny. And even with her doing that, even though it was just silly and ridiculous, it did kind of warm up the conversation. So then they're able to talk even more. And she goes, "Well, I appreciate you apologizing. And, I just would really like us to move forward. So, what can we both do as far as putting, a situation that we'll just leave in the past?" So Letitia said, "Mine would be um, the whole me contacting your employees thing. I would never do that. I would never reach out to anybody to try to dig up dirt on you." And when Letitia was saying that, Latrice kind of tilted her head down, like, "Girl, I know you sit up here lying to me. Like, I know you are lying." But she said, "Okay, I will let that go. I will not bring that up any longer." And she goes, "One thing that you can let go of that I don't want to mention anymore is the whole Mandy situation." Now, when Latrice said that, I thought that was highly interesting because I don't know if it's strategic or I don't know if there's more than what we saw, but I thought that was really interesting. But she goes, "I want you to let that go." And so Letitia agrees to let that go. And when they both decide to let it go, the conversation even gets better. So now Letitia feels like, "Oh, I could tell Latrice all my business. We best good girlfriends now." She said, "But girl, let me tell you about Glendale." So Glendale, I'm having this photo shoot because I'm launching my show. Here it is. And the tree's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you for doing that. That is so awesome." She said, but Glendale, I'm having my photo shoot. And, my manager then sat up there because Glenn wanted to be copied in all the emails and the phone calls and everything. And my manager just stepped up to him and was like, "No, that's not about to happen." And Latrice was like, "First did what?" She goes, "No, no, 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 no. First is wrong. First should never do that. You should never step up to anybody's spouse and tell them what you're not going to do. I'm always going to stand behind my husband." And I'm just looking at them like, oh my God. Now, Latrice.
As Motel 6 says, the light was left on, but nobody was in the room. That's
I'm
the
like,
best way that we can
right.
explain it. Because when James makes a face like that and then touches his temples on each side, it means this lady really made his teeth itch, y'all.
It's not that she made my teeth itch. It's like we know Letitia is cosplaying. And in real life, Latrice is right. I said it myself. But y'all know this is some bullshit. And I'm just like, no. Because first of all, Glendale is wrong. They both are wrong. First is wrong for how he approached it, but Glendale is wrong asserting his dominance and power over a situation that has nothing to do with him. That's
I don't
not
think
professional.
I don't think First was wrong. Your man came in here with a stank attitude, unannounced, interrupting something he as a manager put together for his client. His client is Letitia Pearson, not Glendale. And that's something I see a lot of married couples struggle with. Like, just because you are married, yes, technically on paper you are whole and you are one, but you still each have your own individual credit scores, right? So it should be the same thing as it relates to your businesses and some of your friendships. I wish the hell Mr. Best would come up in my shit acting a fool because he going through something or we going through something. Cause what Letitia should have been hollering at gun, I would have been cause what we got going on at home ain't got shit to do with this. You better get the hell out of here before I have you escorted out, Negro. But when you go through your marriage saying yes and you don't speak up for yourself half of your marriage and then suddenly decide because you on a TV show that you want to be independent and suddenly change the ways that you set up for your own shit, that's what happens. Letitia's always looking to blame somebody else for her issues, but Letitia's at the root of her issues herself. So she need to I don't like
Oh,
this lady.
right. Hold on. I got to address something in the comments real quick. Hold on. Vibe. Now, Marie talking about other people's relationships when last season hers was hanging on by a thread. Somebody wrote, okay. So, Vibe.
It wasn't real.
It wasn't real. That relationship wasn't hanging on nothing because there's nothing to hang on from. That relationship was not even in the slightest of it. I don't give a fuck what Marie is saying this season. I do not believe. Now that we know Cedric had a woman and was bullshit, because the woman that come out and said that there is nothing, like allegedly she had came out. I don't know. I don't know if I believe the person, but Cedric and everybody is saying that Cedric is married to somebody else. Like there's so many rumors about Cedric. I don't bit my believe Marie and Cedric had a relationship last season. If anything, I feel like they know how to cosplay. As that's our favorite word to use. Cosplay. So no, there was no relationship. Now, I think she was just giving Selena sound advice of, trying to meet in the middle as somebody who was married. But that wasn't no real relationship. That wasn't nothing. I still love you though. Definitely still love you. But yeah, we have to address the realism. But finishing out this scene, y'all. So then it comes to the collective. Now we have to have a conversation because Letitia feels like her and Latrice can come together and we can see who really wants to be in the collective and who doesn't. Because we need to be a sisterhood. We need to come together for the betterment of the ladies and Letitia on this bullshit again. And I'm just like, no, what they need to do is they need to hold auditions for different one of y'all's and need to switch a few of y'all out. That's what needs to happen. At this point, I'm over this group of ladies. I am over this. Y'all, I'm sorry, Carlos. I love you too. But this is not going to work. You got one lady in there. We don't know what the fuck going on in her life because she doesn't want to share shit because she was traumatized. And that's to her detriment. And to her abilities and also her state. I get it. But then I would get the fuck off the show if I'm not going to give anything. I'm just holding a place that someone else can come in. Keep Carrie. Either Letitia or Latrice got to go. One of them two got to go. And I feel like get all new people. Because this is not working.
It needs to be Letitia to go. I'm not even like separate from my disdain for her. The show was built on entrepreneurs in the South who are Southern belles. Letitia is the opposite of all of that. All she does is represent black toxicity in marriage. The other reason I feel like she needs to leave is she's not really an entrepreneur. She has a lot of jobs. She's a hustler. I can't disrespect her work ethic, and I will not disrespect Letitia's work ethic, but she does not give entrepreneur. She does not give a businesswoman. If I want to put together a brunch right now in the Bay Area and actually put the effort into it, I could probably put on a brunch right now too with over 200 people and make it work. Like, no shade to Letitia. I don't think this platform is good for her, her marriage. I don't think she'll ever leave it while on here. She needs to be the one to go because at least Latrice can give us drama through Cliff's ignorant ways. Then they both actually have money. They both actually have businesses independently and together. Like they align with what the show is. But yeah, Letitia needs to go.
I agree. Somebody got to go.
She's the
Yeah.
root of every beef too. Like going back to season one, she's involved in every single issue in beef. So she can go.
Yeah. Keywan, they stressing me out. Everybody stressing me out on this show. I don't know why y'all want me to keep doing this, but as long as I have the views, I will keep doing this for y'all. But everybody here got on my nerves in one way or another. But this episode was crazy as hell. We lasted a lot longer than I thought we was gonna be on live today. But then I kind of expected it because Glendale had to show his ass, and it just crazy. But I want to know how everybody else feels. Shout out to my replay gang. Make sure y'all leave a comment. How did y'all feel about the fight with Glendale versus the manager first? Do y'all think first was wrong? Do you think Glendale was wrong? Or do you think they both were wrong? What should Letitia do? Should she keep it still separate, or should she have Glendale all up in her business like that? What should go on, y'all? Because I'm curious to see how everybody feels. As I said, I'm divided in the middle because I do see where first did step out of bounds. And I see Glendale shouldn't have brought his black ass up there. So I do see a lot of different things. So yes, I want to know where everybody is with this. Let me know how y'all feel. I cannot wait to read everybody's comment. And please, y'all, do me this solid because this is not easy to get up here. Like, comment, and please subscribe. Go ahead. A lot of y'all watch me. Subscribe to the channel, especially if you watched it all the way through to get to this point where I'm talking. Yes, please subscribe to the channel. Do me that solid. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. CC me and that. If you pay me. The only way I'm CCing anybody that is not, paying me directly, you better pay me some extra. Because if I have to CC anybody other than me and you, I need to be paying for that extra CC. I don't give a damn if it's $10. I need to be paid because I'm not going to do anything extra than what I'm contractually obligated to do. And they would notice if that's really what's going on here. Do I believe that Letitia and First have a contract? Yes. Because she would be an idiot not to have one. But if I was First, would I get that contract altered if Glendale needs to stick his nose in it? Yes, I need more money. Because I have to now tell my assistant to do something extra that I'm not paying her to do, or him, or whoever to do. So yeah, I need my extra money. That's how I feel. So thank you guys once again for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. My next video will be tomorrow for Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys do not want to miss it because I'm sure that episode is going to be crazy. So thank you guys once again and have a great rest of your weekend or rest of your Saturday. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.